I don't know about the sound, how that's going to come across. I don't. We're live.
I'm gonna get my notification. There we go.
Can you hear that?
No?
He had wisdom, an uncanny amount of wisdom for a man as young as he was. Wisdom that sometimes it takes a lifetime to accumulate. He had it in just 31 years. He was also bold. It is so easy. And listen, I've been guilty of it. I think many of us have been guilty of this. You hide behind the walls and you surround yourself with people that agree with you. We do it as a society all the time. Increasingly, people are moving into neighborhoods with other people that agree with them politically and isolate themselves from people.
Okay, hey everybody. Excuse me, I got a weird tickle right before I came on. I was sneezing my head off, but welcome everyone. That's really what I want to say. I'm going to turn my volume down a little bit. We were just behind stage, whatever, talking about Charlie Kirk. I guess it's the memorial, and I have not watched it or seen any of it. Um, and I think I was vested into a lot of it. You know, all I can say is mercy on his soul. This is Rubio now speaking. So we're not going to be really talking about this. If Trump comes on, we might go into it and see what he has to say. Other than that, one of the things that I wanted to do. Let me bring you guys closer here. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Whoa, where'd you go?
I don't know. You disappeared. I did the Houdini trick.
I push buttons and I never know what the hell I'm getting myself into.
That was me. I did Houdini.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people out here already. Hello, YouTube. I'm gonna check in on Rumble here in a minute. Actually, I'm going to do it on my phone. It's easier for me to do. I was thinking about the picker wheel because, you know, I sit there and I say, well, what is it? You know, the light and the energies. Arnie, the energies are really heavy, very, very heavy right now. Did you kind of want to talk a little bit about that?
Roller coaster ride, total roller coaster. Just stay grounded. That's the best thing you can do.
Just like the memorial going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, roller coaster for sure of emotions. So, like Johnny said, make sure you keep yourself grounded, stay in high vibes. You know, like Janine said earlier, it was probably better not to watch it because we already have the eclipse, and that's it. Yeah, so try to stay away from the drama. So yeah.
The one thing that I've been noticing with like all this stuff is, you notice things are being done twice. Things are being repeated. Things from going back 6 years ago, even 4 years ago. It's a repeat. It's turning the tables, showing one situation, how it was handled and what happened, and then a similar situation and what's happening and how it's handled. Who's acting out? Who's the ones acting on hate? You know, and who are the people preaching peace and, you know, sanity, basically. It's all a show.
You know, and it's like this the coincidences too, right, of what you mentioned, the same birthdays. Charlie Kirk and George Floyd have the same birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
So you had one, right, and then you have another, right. Dark side played their hand. White hats are playing their hand for the good, and you know you have like watching the memorial. You know, like the one person, Stephen Miller. I mean, that man, he makes you want to, you know, he made you want to get up and just go right out. But So yeah, it's I forgot where I was going with that. So yeah, I got lost in the translation. I got so excited because listening to him with him speak. So I don't know where I was going.
That's okay. Let me come back to you guys here. So yeah, the energies are really heavy. My husband was watching football. I was watching the Cubs lose their ass to Cincinnati Reds, which it just I'm a true baseball fan, and I'm back into it. Even though people will say, well, sports is this or that. I don't care, man. Everything is this or that in this world. I'm going to sound like a little bitter, but I think people are even making stuff up. Who's this? Who's this guy here?
That's Pete Hegseth.
Yeah. They're going after Pam
I mean,
Bondi.
you could put him on. He's a Christian man. I'm sure he'll fire up the crowd. It won't be too emotional, I don't think.
A Christian and a warrior. See, Charlie Kirk was a true believer for the cause of freedom.
Well, sound.
And make America great
No.
again. But more importantly, he was a true believer. Only Christ is King, our Lord and Savior. Our sins are washed away by the blood of Jesus. Fear God and fear no man.
Okay,
sorry, Buck, but I can't do this. I can't do this.
That's fine.
You don't fear God, no. No.
That's good. We don't have to listen. So anyway, I think I remember we were going back to I was talking about coincidences. The White Hats reversing the spell that the Dark Hats had over humanity, and you could see, because Charlie Kirk, he went everywhere. It wasn't just in one state. He wasn't just in America. He debated everywhere. So this is people. That's why you see all these people in these other countries saying enough's enough, and because like Arnie said earlier, you could see the evil coming out of people, celebrating and glorifying this, and where people are turning away from the Democratic Party and going to church where they said I haven't gone to church in a long time.
Well, here's my spin on this. If you wanna, this is Sunday. This is our spiritual sermon, if you will. I have nothing against anything that any of these people stand for. There's religion, there's spirituality. Is there a big difference? I actually started to dig into that a little bit, but
there's a difference.
But there is a difference, but that's not where I'm going to go. Where I'm actually going to go is the behavior of these people that are different from the way we see things. You talked about. I said in a text to you last week, an eye for an eye, Floyd for a Kirk, and that sounds really brutal to some people, but just please hear me out. So it's almost as if we were able to witness 4 years ago Antifa, Black Lives Matter, saying this, that, all the ugliness. Now we flipped it, right? And so now we're talking about the Kirk, we're talking about religion. Well, no, and we're talking about more godly things. So, it's whether you want to say it's religion against spirituality, whatever it is, there has been a huge shift with people who actually do believe in something, whether it's creator or whatever it is. So what we are witnessing is our consciousness has shifted and is rising, and whatever tool that you think that you can monitor this with the Sherman resonance reports and all that other stuff. The truth is that we are witnessing these people who have lost themselves. they lost their identity. They lost who they are. They lost their cognitive. They lost their. The word I'm looking for is they can't even think for themselves, right? And how did they get there? It's been indoctrinated within the schools. Were they brainwashed? I don't know. I can't see into it that deeply, but all that I could say is if people can't debate, if they can't have a conversation and be calm about it, they have to lose their shit. They've lost something. And whatever that something is, I think that they're going to find it. I don't think all the souls are lost at this point. And that's why we are witnessing what we are witnessing. Like you said, Buck, you flip the coin, we're on the other side of the coin. And if this is God's plan, it's done perfectly. And I'm not saying that any of it is, I don't want to say any of these people are bad. Then you have other people out there that basically say that there are evil that does walk among us. We are into so much of information and waking up to things that we didn't even know that was around us. This is such a pivotal time right now this week. And I think that we're going to get more clarification in the weeks to come. I truly do believe this. What do you guys think?
I think over the next 3 days, you might see even more because you have the blood moon, right? Or the eclipse. You have the equinox, autumn, and you have the Jewish holidays coming up. I think is it Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah, either like Tuesday or Wednesday. And these are days where the occult, the dark side, would do their blood rituals and all of that. So maybe you're going to see a little reversal on that too. You'll see maybe something, but they're going to try and do something, and it's going to be thwarted and exposed on them again, just like this. This is a total backfire for them. It's a no-win with Charlie Kirk. Whether it's real, whether it's staged, whether it whatever, everything that they've done to this point is just working against them, and it'll continue that way.
So this is the spiritual war. So take the politics out of all of this, just remove it. Politics will always be politics. I don't think that whatever side of the fence that you think is the best, I just think everything is corrupt as could be. And and then that's one of the reasons why I was debating. So who's coming up next up here is R.F. Kennedy Jr. I usually can't hear what he is saying unless I read the subtext. So just to let you know, they've got him up there. I'm waiting to see if Trump comes up. But anyways, this is the world that we live in. A lot of people exit before the year 2000 because they decided that maybe it might have been too tough for them. But we're here enduring all of this. And I want to say thank you for all the people who have just recently joined my channel, because I'm putting a lot of short clips out there that are in the way of, sometimes they're spiritual, sometimes they're in the way of religion. So, it's just basically letting people know that their power is within their prayers. And if you want to call prayer manifesting or whatever terminology that you want to use right now, we have to know that we have to stay connected all as one.
And we are. So that they don't ever. Not everyone sees it that way though. So we got to educate a little bit better, But in due time, it's good, like Dean said, it's good versus evil, and good always triumphs over evil. So it's just they lost. They just don't know it yet. Like Arnie said, everything they try is reversing because.
But if they lost, they will be found. I think I do believe that. I don't think every soul out there is a lost case. I don't know. I just want to believe that when they will all find their light somehow, and that's all their own personal journey. Let me tell you, I'm on X, and it's a war zone out there, and it is ugly. And I can only be out. I get on this thing at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just started to wake up at that time and jump on there. I don't know if James Woods is ever sleeping, but he is out there. It's like he's fighting this battle against them. But he has 5 million people that follow him out there. Which means that he's helping show the world, the whole world, everything that is ugly at this time, and that's his job. It's not my job. I'll retweet some of his stuff, but that's about it. But after a while, then I have to actually get off and say I'm done with this. So one second, my dog's got something, and I don't want her to have it.
Well, that's dogs for you.
Mhm.
You know,
For me, it's not so much, the good taking over the evil. Everything has to come into balance. Everything has been so up here with distortion, evil,
masculine
and
energy, right?
we're in a 3D reality, and things have to come back into balance. So at some point, the good has to come in, and that's what's happening now, to try and balance everything out, even out the energies in this 3D reality.
Very true.
Okay.
And something that
Charlene has a statement. I disagree, Janine. Politics, as we currently know it, will not always be as it is. I don't know how you would know that, Charlene. There's things that even Trump is not perfect in its way. So maybe not in my lifetime, but we're still weeding them out. Pam Bondi, people are calling for her head right now. I mean, because there's never been an arrest. It's either she shits or she gets off the pot. Trump even made a statement about that. So there, even though that that we think that he picked the good administration, there's always something that's being weeded out. You cannot have so much darkness around the light. And that's where I'm saying politics. It just the word politics in general. If we form it in a different way and we manifest it in a different way, maybe it will it'll change. But it hasn't morphed as we speak. At least not this year. All right.
It would have to be gradually
gonna
weeded out.
It's got to be exposed. Look, the day that the shooting happened, what else happened that day that no one knows about, or no one heard about?
There was something going on in
They voted on
DC.
Epstein. They voted on Epstein to release the files, and they voted 51-49 to not release it, and they kept that all under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they want that held back? Because 90% of them are guilty in there, so they don't want the exposure. Because that's what will end the politics, and that's when the National Guard and everything will come in. The military will come in once that's able to be exposed. But once again, something happens to cause a distraction. And like I said, was it real? Was it not real? I don't know, but the result of it is a good thing right now because it's bringing people together.
Was Floyd real?
No, I don't think so.
Not one iota.
He was a fentanyl and all that, and there was so many things seen on there where the uniforms on the police, the cars on the police, the license plates, 2 different areas recorded. You never see his face clearly.
Nobody had masks on during COVID.
Yeah,
people walking in the street in the background, none of them had masks, but you had to wear. That was another thing.
And that was a hero, a guy that raped women and was on fentanyl.
and the casket was for somebody my size, and he was like 6'6", and I'm 5'6". So how does that dude fit in that little tiny box? It was like a kid freaking casket.
Well, if they used what the actor was leaning on, he would fit because it was like this big. It was just a chest and a head. That was it.
So, but yeah, distraction. They also had the 9/11 meeting as well. I forgot what it was, but they had that was going on as well. The exposure of 9/11 and building technicians and engineers actually speaking during that Congress hearing to expose that the the nanothiamine and all this. Yeah, but Charlie Kirk, you know, had it stuck the airwaves and clogged up the news cycle.
Mm-hmm. Look here, not there, all the time.
Always. That's why it's this whole thing is a mind fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, it's still the good the whole like you said, the Pam Bondi. It's the whole Elon when they were bickering. They're doing it to me. I think it's all it's psychological warfare, right? I mean, it's 5D psychological warfare, and that's why we can't get too caught up in it because we're not in the we're not technically in the war behind the scenes doing what the military and them have to do to this is how long has this been going, this mind control going on? I mean, how long have the bad guys, the cabal, have been in power? I mean,
long before we were here, long before this was even a country.
Yes. So it's going to take some psychological warfare to making the bad guys not knowing who's who anymore. That's why whatever they try to do ain't sticking anymore. It's just backfiring them. Because I think some good guys some bad people that were on the bad side are now playing.
It may take a generation because it took a generation to do this. When 9/11 happened, I mean, I couldn't walk outside without someone saluting a flag, a police officer, a fire person. Everyone was so patriotic. How does that change in 24 years? Well, schools change what they did to the schools with the learning. Make it so like there's no competition. Everybody wins. Everybody's a winner, whether you lose or whatever. Get control of the children. Make the parents both have to work 2 jobs so that they can't watch their kids and have the government raise your kids. It's simple. One
if you get
generation.
a trophy, if you get a trophy for 4th place, what is there to strive for? It doesn't give that. Yeah.
I mean, I sensed this as a kid, even going to church. Like when I was 5 years old, I didn't even want to finish like my confirmation or anything like that. I was like, what do I got to go there for? Why do I have to preach my sins to somebody when I can talk right to God? It's everything is like someone has to tell you what to do. School, same thing. You go to school, they tell you this is the answer. You cannot question this. We know the answer. This is it. There's no debate.
It's in the book.
That's it. Who wrote the book? Rothschilds and the Rockefellers.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why when we're small, that's why they do this. They start the process then. It's like a training. And then it goes from the school to the colleges, the same thing. You have to listen to the professor. Then in your job, it's the same thing. The person above you is telling you what to do. You can't question what they say or do. It's just a continuing, process through life. That has to totally change. That's what they're trying to do now. They're starting to do this now. And it's going to take, people don't want to hear this, it's going to take a generation. Things can happen a lot quicker if more people wake up to it. But if not, and if we keep going at the pace we're going, where people are taking so long to wake up, it'll take another 10, 15 years. Just like if you think back 10 years ago, how different things were from how they are now. It's so much better. More people are awake, but more have to be awakened. And quicker it happens, the quicker we move forward. But it has to be where this generation of children need to be taught correctly. Without that, it's just going to keep going over and over and over. And that's why they cannot just come in and arrest everybody, take them away, because the same thing will happen. Once they're taken away and there's still like the underlings in there and they start moving up, the same thing will happen. The same process will happen 1-2 generations down the line. So it's got to be where they get them young, and we can go that way forward here with that too.
That's why getting rid of the Department of Education was the first step.
All the free
Because
lunch.
ever since, right, Arnie, ever since they came into power, it's just our education system has drastically declined. They took away the home ec in school. We were lucky enough to where we still had the home ec in intermediate school, right? Right before, well, now they call it elementary school, but it's like we had woodworking, we had sewing, we had typing. Now they don't give no skills whatsoever. Auto class. How to build a car and build an engine. Something
Mhm.
that we could use in the world, which is what Charlie was trying to tell kids. It's like go do something where you're going to learn a trade. And that's what we need to get back to. Like the trade schools. Forget the education system. Like Arnie said, they wrote the books. So if we get people to just do trade schools and learn a craft, and that would obviously speed up the process,
Yeah.
of rebuilding society the way we want it. And so hopefully that would be sooner rather than later. But
So,
but yeah, this is it's gonna take some time, and we just got to be patient, which our society is not built on patience anymore, right?
no.
We want our food in the microwave, right? That 30-second, no, and we all know what the microwave does to food, takes all the nutrients out. So
Mhm.
what happens if we're gonna rush this? We're gonna be right back in the same situation like Arnie was saying.
Right.
You know,
It's all over again.
if you want surgery done right, you gotta take time. You gotta take slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race, not you know rushing this. So
Well,
No.
while you guys were talking, and it's great because once again, Janine lost her information for the picker wheel. So this is the good conversation here that you guys are having, and I appreciate it. The only thing that I was going to do is talk about music, TV, that type of thing, but and maybe what you're talking about is more important. There's probably a good idea that Spirit took it away from me. um, but let's see. I just want to go back to see who's on Charlie Kirk. Don Jr. speaking right now, so just to let everybody know.
we could always watch it later,
Yeah. So
right?
Charlene's got a really good statement here. I was talking to Ronnie about this earlier. The last generation. Oh
Mm.
boy, Buck, are you actually reading the curriculum, or when you enroll your child back into school? Do you actually know what they are studying? Do you know what they are being taught?
I still don't. Only when she was home from COVID, and half of the stuff was garbage. But she's a smart kid, and she's well grounded. For her age, and she's my daughter, so she's like me. So I teach her what needs to be taught and what's right and wrong. Um, but I don't know the whole curriculum as far as what. But she's in honor rolls for what is it, biology? So
Well, that's good. So the reason why I'm saying that is because, all right, so there's a lot of this whole thing about Charlie Kirk is debating. You got to be able to feel very strong about something. You've done your research. You've done a lot of research in order. When I was telling my husband this morning, I said when I was younger, we had civics in school. We had debate classes. I remember people saying, I'm going to join the debate class. And I was just like, God, I don't even know my own mind. I'm not strong enough. I don't have the confidence to do that. You say one thing to me and I'm going to go crying, the opposite direction. But I admired the people that could debate. Now, what I'm actually seeing, what Charlie created is a lot of people out there that debate. And there was one guy that when my channel was, all about the truthers that wanted to debate the truthers. I can't remember his last name. And he just reached out to me recently, wanted to come on. He really wants to have a good, strong debate with people. and I said, I'd love to have you on, but I'm not your person to do that. And that's good. That doesn't mean that anybody's right or wrong. You just feel you're showing what it is that you believe in. And there's a lot of kids out there that are now picking up the torch from Charlie and out there doing, and they're on YouTube. And there's one guy, I think his name is Warren Smith. I don't know if anybody has seen him out there, but wow, he went to school to work in digital computers and stuff like that. And he could take any video and just break it down for you and tell you this person doesn't even understand what they're arguing, and that's the kind of thing that I think that Charlie did with a lot of these people. They came from, anytime that you find someone, and you might know someone in your family like this, you can't have a solid conversation with them because they don't have facts and data. What they have is anger and swear words, and they know how to put you down and they can bully you. And that's their way of winning arguments, and that's maybe how they've been taught. I don't know.
They don't have facts and data. Why? Why don't they have
Because
facts and data?
they don't have any facts and data because they never gone deep enough. They don't even go deep enough to in their own thinking.
Because they come home, they go on the television, and whatever is told on there is, law. That's why it's brainwashing.
Yeah,
And
you hear things over and over and over again. How many people can recall their grandparents sitting in their chair and just watching the news, the same news over and over and over? They might flip the channel from 5 to 7 to 9, something like that, right? Or
no, I used to change the channel, not my parents, my grandparents.
I can twist the knob. Yeah.
Can you turn it to 4, please?
No, what about the rabbit ears? No, move over that way, a little bit over that way. Get up on the roof, Janine.
But yeah,
right. It is the programming, and Ronnie, you're right. I want to talk about the programming because all of us have got programming, from our self-esteem to whatever it might have been. So anyways, going back to this Warren Smith guy, he was talking to some of these people out on the street, and he said, what do you think about Charlie Kirk? And they would say the worst things you can imagine. And then he would say, hey, I heard that there's a couple. So it was a young guy, so they all think he's a student there. He probably had graduated like a couple years earlier. And he said, I heard that there's parties. And like, oh yeah, there's all kinds of parties. Everybody's celebrating this. And I'm just thinking, Jesus, what's going on with the programming? So then he's interviewing the teachers out there. So these teachers, how many teachers does anybody out there know? And put it in the chat. How many teachers were actually fired across the United States for celebrating Charlie Kirk? I did research. I went to AI. I went to that Grok, whatever it's called. 30 teachers across the United States. That's not counting any other profession. That's not counting nurses, doctors, surgeons. You name it, they have all lost their jobs. There's a gentleman out there who's basically taking names and numbers, and he's reaching out to employers, and he's saying, hey, we've got these teachers who mold the minds of these young people, and this is what they're saying out there. We don't want this, so that they're gone, right? How did the teachers, and this is, I really mean this, it's not a rhetorical question. How did the teachers get so damn corrupt? Who did this to the teachers?
The teachers before them were part of it. To just fit into their society, to get the job that they want. A lot of people, surgeons, the same thing, doctors are a perfect example to me with their Hippocratic oath that they take. Once again, play on words. Because how many doctors will do surgeries, will do, I know my ex-wife was a nurse too, and my daughter's a nurse, but I don't care. I will talk about this stuff. But these surgeries that they do, when even some of them know, oh, well, maybe this plant-based medicine will help. But no, it's money. And even if it's a procedure they need to do, sometimes they will go a different way about it because they'll get paid more through this insurance or through this. It's all about money. You want things to change in medical, pay the doctors based on who they cure. Eliminate the insurance and all the middlemen. Pay them on curing people. They might have you go there for 50 years taking 20 medications and stuff like that. But yeah, with the school, with the professors, it starts prior. It starts with their teachers
The school unions.
and
So
all of that. Yeah,
there's
and only being
poison.
hired if you're a certain way with that DEI crap that they had too.
I don't want to sound so cynical, but every which way that you look, the food, the pills, the teaching, I could go on. And how did people like me, you, Buck, Arnie, all the people in the chat? I see Amy Boyd is out there. Hey, Amy, how you doing? Ronnie is out there. How did we escape all of this?
Because we chose to come here at this time to do what we're doing, to speak up and to be the voice and to be the first wave to bring forward the awakening.
Ernie, were you ever religious?
I wouldn't say I'm religious, but I believe in God. Like I said, even from the time I was small, I remember the very first time we had to do the confession. How old are you? 6, 7? I knew then. I'm like, this is not right. Even in school, I always question, like, well, isn't there another answer? Is there possibly another answer? Why is this person right in everything they say? And what's in this book? This doesn't make sense to me. Even at like 7, 8 years old, 9 years old in school, it's an innate knowing. We were here. We came back for this. That's the difference.
I always thought there was I always thought there was something wrong with me. I just never fit in anywhere. And to be honest with you, when 9/11, I lost my shit. I remember that. But it was COVID where it was like if that was my my birthing, that's when it happened. When I don't even know. Like I said, I was on Twitter at the time, and there was this guy putting this stuff out there. My thinking was a little bit different before I accepted everything that anybody ever said. I was a doormat to so many people, and I think that when it's all came down to COVID, and it was like kind of like, I became the true essences that I ever wanted to be, and I felt my own power within. Prior to that, I was always fighting something. I was in corporate and I'm fighting. And I felt like when I got on social media, I didn't have to fight, that I could talk. And there was other people that were talking the same way that I was. And I was, there's a thing that there's nothing, it's one of my short clips out there. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just not in the right place. Right. And so you just have to find that right place. And I think I found the right place in social media. And it just validated, my true essences of who I was and my own spirituality. Buck, were you ever religious?
Well, I was brought up in a Catholic family, and Catholic school, so I'm a recovering Catholic. But yeah, the whole, we had to do the whole church thing, like Arnie said earlier, the whole confession, and I didn't like church. The only thing I liked about church is to be, is getting the wafer and drinking some wine. All right, that's when I knew I probably had an alcohol addiction. Is when I wanted to get the wine. But now obviously the older I got. But you realize what that whole symbolism is, right? The body of Christ and the blood. I mean, but yeah, I always knew there was a higher power, right, or God or whatever. Because how can there not be? I mean, there's so much beauty in this world, and but yeah, the whole religious thing was just a whole bunch of crap. The whole church thing. I gotta talk to God. I mean, I can talk to God wherever I want, right here, right now, if I want.
The whole religious thing, I have to agree with you on. I was raised Catholic. You sit, you stand, you kneel, you do this. You peace be with you. You're shaking people's hands, and I even as a little kid, I didn't want to reach back and grab somebody else's hand who I didn't know, and it's just because I had weird phobias. Just like when you have to go up and drink the wine, I was like, oh, are they really clean? Is it clean there that I can drink it? I'm like, just give me the
No, it's
wafer in
not.
my hand.
Yeah, it's not clean.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think they do that stuff anymore, Buck. I think it's all changed, but yeah. So I don't
It's
think
kind of
there's
like a get out of.
confession.
I tell people the way I see some people, it's like a get out of jail sin card. They're especially here in the South. I hate to say it, but it's like they're all like holier than thou on Sunday, but then as soon as they leave that church, they're right back to the same. Hate to say it, a hole that they are, like inconsiderate, not
Self-righteous.
compassionate. Yeah, yeah,
Self-righteous.
yeah.
I come into
Right.
the church and I love you, oh God, and, it's just everything is just so beautiful. You get out of church, hey, you idiot, you parked too close to my car. What the hell's the matter with you? It's like, wow.
For instance, Amanda would go out after church with some of the church, like, and they would complain about the food. Like, you're at IHOP. My wife's like, that looks fine. No, it's wrong, and they complain. It's like, yeah, self-righteous for sure. But it's the world we live in, right? We gotta just send them love, like Charlie said. Since
Yeah, so I'm thinking after him, he's been talking about 5 minutes or so. I think after the VP, maybe we'll get the P.
yeah,
Yeah, let's see. I want to check with Rumble here, see if anybody is out there. And
now they did not have that. They did not have the seal on. Sorry, Janine. They did not have the seal on earlier before they started talking.
They didn't have what on? Oh, the seal.
The presidential seal on the podium there.
Gotcha.
So they must have put it on.
Yeah, Dean 804. Again, I apologize for my voice allergies. Says it's all evil. He says exactly, Buckshot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. So not that I wanted to I knew that people's energies was going to be very heavy. A lot of people are feeling a lot of things. I know this eclipse is coming up, but my understanding, when was the eclipse, or is it already here? Is it coming? Does anybody know? Ernie?
I'm not sure. I don't follow that greatly. I think it might be tonight.
It's tonight.
Yeah.
And so if it's tonight, we might be feeling it, but I think we're going to feel it a couple days down the road from when I watch this astrology guy. It's not going to affect everybody as much. So all that I want to say to everybody out there is just please be very kind to yourself every day, whether it doesn't matter where the position of the moon is or what's going on in the stars. But I really think that the shift was so big that the ones who are and have been in the light are not reacting to a lot of other small things. They're not sweating the small stuff. At least that's how I'm feeling. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, just I'm really feeling the energies, but I'm not giving into any of the things that are on the TV, the internet, anything like that. But I've been just trying to go within and work and keep working on all different projects that I'm doing right now. So that's helped me to ground, stay focused.
Well, I did look it up. It's saying that globally it will begin at 1:29 Eastern time with the maximum eclipse phase. It says when the moon covers the largest portion of the sun, occurring at 3:41 Eastern time. So it already was maximum already. So it looks like we're already through it, but like you said, we'll still have the effects for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. My energy has been really calm, and
Tired today.
I'm not as excitable as I have been. Like, at night, sometimes I take my wedding ring off because my fingers will swell a little bit, and I'll put it on the little stand next to me. Well, apparently it must have fell off and I didn't hear it. But last night I heard the little dog. I heard him playing with something. And it's almost like a cat playing with something. And I go in there, I'm looking, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, my ring is gone. It's not in two places I would normally have it. And then all of a sudden I said, I think I know. It's almost as if, like, if there is something that's stressful, I take a pause, I breathe, and then I receive. Literally, I'm learning this. And I said, all right, I'm gonna look under the bed. And sure enough, the dog had put it under, was playing with it. It was just something that was moving along. I go out there, I could grab a big stick, and I think the old Janine would have been like, where the hell is my ring? I can't find it. I'll be yelling for my husband and stuff like that.
Swallow it.
Pardon?
It's a good thing they didn't swallow it. Who was it? Rizzo? Or
Bella.
Bella, the baby?
Yeah. It was Bella that had something in her mouth also too, a little metal thing. And I was thinking about the exact same thing, Buck, but if she did, I'd be standing behind her waiting for her to shit every day.
Yep. And that's what Carol always says, find the diamonds in the dog shit. You'll definitely find it.
Let's see here. Mary says, I've been watching the star people in the clouds all day. Certain people have gifts like that, that's wonderful that people can do that. Amy, what does Amy say? Let's just get a little shout out. I'm still waiting to see if Trump comes up here. I saw a hummingbird, so I put up a feeder and have been watching them all day. Oh, I love hummingbirds.
I haven't seen any birds behind my house. I got nothing but woods back here, and I got a bird feeder, but I haven't seen them. Even my neighbors haven't, but usually you see them, and I haven't seen them. It's kind of weird. I've been noticing for like the last like 2 weeks. I'm like, where the heck do all the birds? Like, it's been longer than that, but it's like I haven't seen any birds. There's bird feed. There's still feed in the bird feed.
I've been hearing a lot of crickets, more so than usual.
Oh, we don't have those down here.
Really loud.
We don't have crickets here, Ernie.
Yeah, all the frogs eat them all.
Yeah.
You got a lot more animals down there, Janine. You got more frogs and the lizards.
We got those little lizard things. Oh my God.
Yep, they're everywhere. Same with my parents' house. It's like they're so cute.
I guess I know Rizzo's always trying to catch them. Maybe one day. They're quick. We got this bin by our pool where we keep some of our pool stuff in, and I open it up. I see something, boom, 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 moving around in there. I slam it down. Oh, you got to go out there. And he comes back and he goes, there's a few frogs that were in there. That's all that you saw. He goes, I took them out. I mean, I'm so afraid of shit. I'm such a city girl, man. I'm from Chicago. Don't put me down here with all these, snakes and bugs and lizards.
But you know what? To be honest, too, I've been here 10 years, and we're in the stuff. For the first time, we started seeing palmetto bugs. Oh my God, those things! I've seen them in Florida, but I never had them here, and we had to call an exterminator because one's too many. But we've been seeing them like around the house, crawling on the floor. I'm like, what the? 10 years, we never had an issue. So. Yeah, we called it an exterminator because I can't deal with no roaches, no bugs. I'm usually the bug killer, but I'm not dealing with roaches. Those big giant palmetto bugs.
Where are you guys? We can't find you.
We're here.
Where's Lori's located? I'm curious because I'm in the daytime too here, which I never did before. The crickets. Weird.
Boy, Ronnie knows about the lizards. She said they're funny to watch. They're so territorial. How do you know about this? Oh, she's in Illinois. I forgot she's in Illinois. That's where that's where all the videos are on X out in Broadview. I know where Broadview is because I grew up in Westchester, which is one town over. And all of ICE is in this town called Broadview, and I didn't even recognize it because it's so run down now. But that's their like ground zero, and they are picking up people and just slamming them to the ground. I heard one of the ICE people tell this one lady, "You want front row seat?" Walked her over and threw her back into the street. I'm like, and they don't get it. And there's mayors that are in Illinois because they're all so corrupt that are coming out and they're telling the people, keep coming, don't back down from this. I'm just like,
Yeah, because they're the ones not getting arrested. It's like that comes right down to the mind control. It's like, okay, you do that. You talk about no kings, right? No kings, no kings. But then you got the stupid mayor that says go out there and do it, and you're like, okay. And they're the ones getting arrested, not him.
Yeah, it's somebody, I don't know, Soros or someone out there is paying all these old senior citizens. Probably they don't have two nickels to rub together, right? With these signs that are all prefabbed to go up and down in protest. This is not the people coming together. This is the billionaires, paying off these people.
Yep. And with him designated Antifa as a terrorist organization, we all know who that's going to lead back to.
Tea Party.
Exactly.
Well, in Florida, they were scrubbing off the, I think it was Black Lives Matter. They painted all the streets, a lot of streets throughout a lot of states. In Florida, removed every one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just think back to all that stuff that happened, Seattle, and all the other places a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years ago, Oregon. Oh my God, they tore that place up, and everybody became homeless.
But that was okay.
Yeah. And the problem that I have with people in Oregon is like, well, that's their choice. They choose to live like that. Not all of them.
How many people paid to go in there to do that?
Yeah.
Not even the people that are from there. Those people probably
we got
hid.
a question out on Rumble. I don't know if you guys are going to know this, but I was actually thinking this also too, because I was talking about the educational, the woman that's in charge of the educational, which is McMahon, and says, so why is the wife of McMahon put into the place as the educational? I don't know what her title is, but it'll go away. It'll be she's just there now, representative. Somebody else is probably going to take over for it. But do you guys know why? I know that Trump brought in a lot of people that he knew to keep him close to him, that he trusted. But why her? Maybe she had a background in it. I don't know.
Vince McMahon, and Trump, as a youth, I think, was in military school with Vince McMahon also. And I know Trump was on his WrestleManias a few times. So maybe that's how. Maybe he knows through the family.
Is he still alive? I saw a documentary out on him.
Yeah, Vince McMahon, yeah.
I mean, he used to always have at events at right Trump hotels.
Yeah.
I just said they went to military school together, so.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be people we think are bad, and they're gonna be good, and good people that people that we think are good were bad,
Yeah.
Especially the ones that because I'm sorry, Janine, they'll just have to be, because you're gonna have to turn some of these guys, right? Because they're the ones that have the information, these bad guys. So they're gonna have to start working for the good or even the infiltration for the most part. You gotta. It's kind of like a Donnie Brasco type deal where you gotta be bad in order to get involved or get in there.
How big do you guys think the turning point is going to get with this last generation after seeing this?
Probably big. I forget how many are already opened already.
Oh, it blew up.
Yeah.
Depends on who gets.
The night before, I think James Woods, like I said, he's got 5 million people that follow him out on X. Told everyone, if you've never signed up on Turning Point, it doesn't matter, young or old, get over there and sign up on it. It brought the internet down. And I think they said that an additional 400 locations have opened up across the United States. This is going to be huge.
There's supposedly. I mean, they're saying there's 62,000 new students that signed up.
Ooh.
And that's just as of now. Right? 62,000 kids are now going to at least help at least one. So you could say that's going to at least double. And supposedly they say there's 18,000 inquiries for college chapters. Turning Point received 17,700 inquiries to start new chapter on college campuses following the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
I don't know.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yep.
I get a bad feeling just looking at this for some reason. The red,
Really?
the black, and the white. Why is she in black and white also? Masonic. Why?
She has been in black and white.
I don't know.
Oh, wait.
I think there's probably more chapters, but now they're saying 54,000. Oh, it's 555. I still can't find it.
You're right, Arnie. It's usually reversed. When you're in mourning, you're wearing black.
Yeah, but you don't want to. I'm the type of person I'd rather be celebrated than be mourned. I don't want black worn at my funeral.
I just see, like I said, I just see these colors: the black, the red, and the white. That's all the Masonic.
Oh, yeah. Charlene, yeah, you're right. The turning point is more than the movement. It's the energies of the spiritual people that are turning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this keeps going off.
Just a few miles from here, 2 years ago at America Fest 2023, Charlie delivered a speech on stage.
Okay. I don't want to play this.
That's good because, like I said, it's a roller coaster of emotions. But I did look it up on ChatGPT, and it's 5,000 to 62,000 requests to start new chapters. So yeah, there's a lot of new chapters that are going up. So.
Who wears white or black and white? Exactly.
I noticed that when the coffin came back, she was wearing that, and that's when she was saying, "You don't know what you've unleashed." And I the first thing I thought was her clothing. Is that a way? Like, can we play a game here? Is that a way to kind of like I don't know. I hate to say this, but
Everything is symbolism.
yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm being so careful in what I say.
Yep. Now the question is, like, that's to say that, like, the game, right? Whether it's good, or is it showing us who they are, or is it showing the enemy? That's why it's hard to get tied up in it, you know, and because there is a lot. There's multiple meanings to everything, and it's just why get yourself like so discombobulated on trying to. Eventually we're gonna know the truth.
That's why I say, like, I mean, I see things just by looking at it. I'll get a feeling or whatever. This, that, I don't know. I'll catch things. But like I said, no matter what happened with him, whether it really did, whether it didn't, the result is good right now because it's bringing people into unity. It's, you know, the people that are preaching the hate are suffering consequences for it.
Finally,
You know, it's reversing. And I mean,
That's-
if it's done a Masonic way, it's got to be reversed a Masonic way or exposing a Masonic way. So
that's the thing, that the accountability. It's good to finally see people being held accountable. You know, because how many times have we seen people get silenced? You know, I mean, what better way? You got people, the left, boycotting Disney.
that's I like that.
I mean,
We should put the person out up there before, because I'll listen with my eyes when I look at things. I won't just listen with my ears. I'll listen with my eyes, and I'll try and like see or go by what I'm feeling when I'm seeing something.
yeah.
Somebody's telling, there's a Jeanette Cross out there is telling me that I have to deal with it. She says she's a city girl also. Yet here comes Bigfoot, aliens, dogma, and all the unidentified things. Got to deal with it. Well, you know what? There's only so much that I will bring into my world, and anybody else that wants to bring their stuff into their world. That's the beauty of this being here on this planet. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
So if you guys didn't see when Trump was in the UK, you know, and he was doing with the king and all that, they weren't even part of the ceremony. He was talking about Charlie Kirk as in the present. He said it twice, and I thought, well, a lot of times people do that. They talk about him like they're still here, but he said, you know, he said people were saying that Charlie could have made a really good president. He goes, I think he will be a good president. And I went, what?
Now I didn't hear that, but he doesn't mince words. But I did like how he was expecting the royal guard, not the king.
Oh yeah.
How he walked in front of the king this time. First he walked in front of the queen, right? To inspect the royal guard, and now he walked in front of the king. Is that checkmate?
And the queen wasn't around because she wasn't feeling good or something. They're not around. They're not here. Just like Biden, he was shot. He got the shot. He got the shot.
Yeah, he shot it right. Firing squad shot.
You know, and this just never ends, though. We keep talking about the same stuff. How many years now we're going on this? And I was thinking about that the other day. I'm just like, holy cow, you know, and everyone will say, oh, the timeline's jumped. They have, but still nobody's been thrown in jail. So one of the decodes that I think somebody did the other day was saying that a lot of people were going to get fired. No, go to jail, not fired. They're all going to go to jail. So maybe that's going to happen soon. I'm hoping. I think someone said something. It was Alley Cat, I think, said they're going to be focusing on Obama next.
Speaking of Alley Cat, how come she's
I
not
just
in
saw
here?
her pop in.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Ellie, you could join.
that's probably why they haven't finished his presidential museum there. That looks like a prison cell. Can you believe that thing? I mean, Arnie, right? You're in New York. That thing looks exactly like a jail cell in New York City. Obama's presidential library.
Oh,
Yeah.
in Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago. That it looks like a New York City jail cell. Like when going to the Bronx, there used to be a prison cell right near Yankee Stadium, and it looks exactly like that.
Somebody's got a
Home
really good
sweet home.
sense of humor. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so let's just say it actually does. It just looks like a bunch of metal that people put up there, and like you said, it could be. I honestly believe that he probably acquired probably through USA a lot of the money to have that built, and maybe they didn't give him that money, or maybe it was taken away when he went away on a trip, and maybe they just said, well, if he wants his library, we'll give him a library, and they gave him a bunch of sheet metal is what they did.
Yep.
Out of all the people out of Chicago I want to see gone, is, you guys may not know about him, but I had to hear his name every single. For 55 years I lived there. Was Dick Durbin. This guy, I don't even think it's him anymore. I think that they probably, he's a 2.0. I'll go there with it. But my God, he was the most corrupt man there. And he called a lot of the shots, and he helped get Obama in there and all this other stuff. And I just can't wait. I will celebrate when they get rid of a lot of these old fossils that are out there right now.
Agreed.
We left because of all that crap. We left. I'm trying to figure it out. I want to say probably up to 10 years ago. And thank God.
Yeah. Definitely not easy living in the city or close to the city.
Well, thank you for being here, Allie. She said she's got to go over to JQ headquarters, and appreciate you just stopping in and saying hi. And I hope you have a great Sunday evening. Watch out for them. Hey,
Bells.
Is she watching the cats again?
I don't know. Probably not, because Jason's doing a show today. He's having a show now, I think. I think he was live streaming the Charlie Kirk thing. Hopefully they're feeding her.
Yeah, I want to read a statement since we were talking about Chicago, and they actually are in the spotlight of the cockroaches right now, along with Boston, and there's another state coming up here. So this is coming from Rumble Dean 804, I believe. It says, I'm originally from Northwest Indiana. Hubby works in Chicago for 40 years, as I did, on and off. It is a beautiful city, but it is so corrupt. That's what she's saying, and I have to say I totally agree with that. It's just that they own everything there. They own all the best properties, obviously, and then we've been witnessing that with California and Hawaii and what they will do. So it's just a lot. We've got 3 more years to get through all this bullshit. Arnie, you're in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you poor man.
Yeah.
The hellhole.
Yeah. Mm.
What's going on with that guy that's not even a citizen running for mayor? Do you think they're going to
that Manodavi, whatever his name is? Yeah. Let's see if he gets in. If he does, National Guard.
Great election.
I definitely see that happening anyway. Well, it's got to be. How do you go from not even being in politics to being in charge? The person that should win is Curtis Sliwa here. He was with the Guardian Angels. I actually think he probably won the last election too. Because the only people they ever show or interview are people that are totally against all these people.
Mhm.
Because they even, like you're saying, they control the cities pretty much. They probably still have a pretty good grip on it, so they can mess with these elections. But if that guy gets in, and Trump will have to send the National Guard in, because what he wants to do is make sure that people like me and all my neighbors don't own anything. They want to take control. They want to make people move in with you and live in your home and stuff like that. That's insanity. Meanwhile, this guy lives in a mansion. Yeah.
By himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Guardian Angels, what they volunteer, right? They volunteered people that just it's almost like that volunteer guard, but I don't think they carry weapons.
No.
But they're just like volunteer patrolmen that have been helping civilians when New York was bad in the 80s. That's when they really started. They were, imagine doing that back in the day.
Yeah, the 70s and the 80s. They were
Yeah.
doing that. He actually organizes in other parts of the country too, where the Guardian Angels are at. I mean, he's someone that would turn things around. So of course they're going to do everything to not get him in.
Yeah.
He would actually help.
Yeah.
So
Well, the people that have actually moved from California, a lot of them went to Texas. The ones from New York have all stayed along the eastern coastal, like South Carolina and Tennessee and stuff like that. Everybody's migrating south. You can't go any further north because it's so damn corrupt. A lot of people have left Illinois. I think there's just been just as many. I have to say, there's a lot of people down here where I'm at, and I see so many Illinois plates. I'm like, shit, that's the reason why I left. I hope that they don't bring their crap with them. But a lot of people are not able to uproot. That's the thing.
Their jobs, right? My brother's still there. He wants to move to Florida, but he's close to retirement, so he can't leave. But you got to remember too, like we talked earlier, that this whole Charlie Kirk thing is the people that were kind of like on that fence are switching from the Democratic Party, So
Yeah, how could you basically celebrate the death of a man that was assassinated live on television for the world to see, but then you get a little upset because somebody got fired from their job? I just don't understand it.
yeah,
Go
they
ahead,
would
Ernie.
fire you for not getting this, right? Remember that? Remember that one? No, you
Yeah.
don't get this. You're gone, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny too, because we talked about some of the teachers. There was South Carolina. We had I think 3 from Clemson and a few others. And then I'm reading a story about another woman that got fired, and now she's suing. Right? You're in South Carolina. We are a right to work state. They have the right to fire you for whatever the freak they want. That's what most of these states people don't realize. In a lot of states you live in a right to work state. So they could fire you for whatever reason you want. Whether it's freedom of speech, because you smell bad, it doesn't matter. That you have to prove it, but it's still a right to work state, and they don't need a reason to fire you. It's pretty much.
But they can't force you to do something, especially on your own body.
Yep, and that's what they did.
Basically, what they were doing. I mean, I remember we had the Blasey asshole here, being on TV, eating his French fries, going, "Well, you can get these too if you get."
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I
Meanwhile, he's
remember
getting a
that.
thing that doesn't even go in his arm. You know what I mean?
And the free Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh yeah.
Close down the gyms, right? We'll close down all the healthy shit, but we're gonna leave the liquor stores open, the strip clubs open, the free donuts, free French fries, free shit, free crap. But all the healthy stuff you can get.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this one here says fake news is about to shift the narrative against their masters in effort to weather the storm. This is what I think someone just said here. Panic is everywhere. Patriots are ready. Enjoy the rally at the Q tonight.
To 9/21. So that's a day delta for today's date. So wait a second, right? So the fake news about they're shifting the narrative, right? Because they're trying to say that it was a right-wing shooter, right? So
Yeah.
they're shifting the narrative. So this is a 9/21/2018. So this is what we're in a 7-year delta here. So they're trying to shift the narrative to what? I mean, panic everywhere. We do see that, and enjoy the rally. Would you probably? I would probably say that this Charlie Kirk thing is a rally. I mean, just saying. I mean, a lot of coincidences.
But why spell weather that way? Wouldn't it be WHTHER?
You would think, or it's weather because it's a storm. But
So what are they going to try and create?
and I would say in order to survive the storm, it would probably switch that up. But they won't, because evil never wins. Well, never triumphs. They win sometimes.
So I actually asked a question about the teachers that are corrupt, and Arnie said the teachers before them are corrupt. This is a leader. She is Hillary Clinton's friend, Randy Weingarten. She has written a lot of books. She basically has a book out there that the teachers were probably told to read, Teachers Against Fascists. And it's basically, oh no, this is actually on September 16th. I guess she had a conversation with someone, but this is a bad person right here. This Randy Rendi, this older woman here.
That's not a woman.
It's not a woman. It's a man.
If we can get a closer picture of it, that's a dude.
Got to remember too. I think it was 1984 where they started changing how they were going to educate people.
Yeah, ATF president. This was my question, and I think I understand it a little bit better. Yeah, so I am very, very skeptical about these teachers and where they're getting their information. They're so adamant, and those are the ones that are all getting fired. We need to fire these people right here. This lady.
This lady. This dude.
Yeah.
This dude with makeup.
Oh my God.
Do I need to put it back up again?
No. That explains the transgender bullshit.
I don't want to. I got to stop looking to pictures.
Okay, I'm done. I wasn't planning on going there. Let me go back to see what's going on over here. She's still talking. All right, let me get out of X. You can get just crazy within X. And I'm not going to touch any of those subjects that I don't know enough about, but I'll just leave that to all the other influencers out there. And right now, I'm not paying attention to anything that they're saying, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That like you said earlier, don't let your emotions get the best of you.
Yeah. All right. So gosh, this one here is breaking down and crying. I gotta get her off of there. Come back to you guys. All right. Yeah, the other thing too is all the AI bullshit that's out there that people are taking and dissecting what actually happened. And now there's the newest thing that's out there. This meme that's going around is that she's pregnant, and they're actually. I mean, AI is so good that they can actually produce, the picture of the baby in the womb. You know how they do that when you want to see your baby. And it's just bullshit that people are making up out there. Just what the hell is
You-
wrong with people? Now I'm going to show my age.
they clickbait, because
Yes.
with AI nowadays is you can generate anything after an event happens, and sometimes even before it happens. But all these other videos that they're coming out now with all the shooters this way, the shooters that way, you can see a puff of smoke here. Here's the bullet, blah 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 blah. All that stuff can be generated after. So it's like, how accurate is it? Which kind of sucks because we've been lied to and manipulated. The main thing is question everything. Don't take this shit for what it's worth. We already know they've been lying to us. The shooter is not the original person of interest that they had. It's a totally different chin. It's just little things like that. It's just we're being lied to. So, yeah, I try not to get wrapped up into it. I'm sure they're still watching it downstairs, and probably crying as well, along with the wife. But it is. Not to say that it's not a movie, right? But it's a character. We're gonna miss that character because of what he was able to do. Um, and I hate to say character, right? Just the persona of Charlie, right? That's what we're gonna be missing. The fact of and we just, but it goes to shows that we're human and we have a heart and we have empathy for the, even though people take that whole, like, his quote empathy out of context. All right, so compassion. How can you not have compassion for the family, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I know I cried a couple times. I welled up just watching. That's why I had to take her out there.
Yeah.
I cry when anybody else cries. I really do.
Well, that's
And
that's why I had it. It was good that you had the show come on because I was watching downstairs with them, and once I see my little girl getting upset,
yeah,
there's nothing holding that back for me. So
yeah. Well, the good thing that the thing is that your daughter is conscious at this time, and she's probably going to be a mover and a shaker, and that's kind of like what I was going to talk about with the wheels. All these people, and it was music was the theme. Jesse Wells, I think is his name. If you guys haven't heard from him, look him up on Facebook. He's all over the place, traveling the country. They gave him an award. He just gets out in the nature and starts singing songs, just like Oliver. Was it Anthony Oliver or Oliver Anthony? I'm not sure which way his name went, but yeah, all these young kids, they're changing music as we know it, and how you want to categorize them, I have no idea. I had it all laid out, but I deleted it all. So they're basically using their brains at this time, and it's kind of like the 70s, but the 70s when they were fighting, for against the war, these people are kind of fighting for finding their voice within our own country, and it is a spiritual war, and they're calling it as they see it. And I just think it's a really cool thing.
yep, and the kids born nowadays are come in already with a higher degree of abilities than we are. That's why we're going to see some of these kids probably generating more of this new technology. It used to be like when we were growing up, it was all about the elders, right? The elders knew
Yeah.
more and la 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 la. Now some of these kids are going to be smarter than these adults.
All right, so I had this conversation with somebody I won't mention, but we're just talking about that. Buck, do you know who your grandparents were?
Yes.
Arnie, did you know who your grandparents were?
Yep.
Did you know your great grandparents?
No.
Either one of you.
Yeah, I was young. I was still young. They weren't. I remember hanging out with them, but I don't remember like who they were as because I'm still a baby.
Yeah, and they shaped their energy shaped a lot of who you are today through your parents and whatnot. But did your mother and father share stories about whether they were in America or not in America? Did you hear those stories from them? Did they share any of that with you?
No, my grandparents didn't share too many stories. Just my grandfather shared like a World War II story. He was a prisoner of war, and his actually brother was one of the people that helped his command, not his command, but his platoon helped liberate him. So when he was coming out of prison, his brother was going in, so pretty much helped him liberate him, like his platoon. But yeah, not too many stories from Italy back home. I was still young. I was probably under 10 by the time they passed away. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
so where I'm kind of going with this is that we only know about our generation and our parents' generation and possibly the grandparents. There's something that we don't honor. Well, I have to say I've got a second cousin who actually he's a genealogist, so he traced our family all the way 1699, I think, back to Italy. And when my grandfather came to Chicago along with his brothers and sisters, and they've all stayed there until they got to retirement age, and they knew that they couldn't afford to live in Chicago anymore. But if you were a Cavallone, I was related to you, and we all stayed in one area. They actually bought up houses, and I think a lot of people in New York do this too. Oh, my grandma lives across the street, my aunt lives over here. Everybody stayed really close together, but you knew who they were. I just kind of feel like with this latest generation, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, we're not honoring our ancestors. We don't know anything about them. My generation is completely different from the way my mother's generation was, but she instilled kindness into me, manners into me. These kids today, I think a lot of them are numb. I don't know how to explain it. I don't have any children, so it's not something that's close to me, but I just see the reactions of all these kids that I'm watching out there about the death of Charlie Kirk or the death of anything. It just seems like one lady did say this. She doesn't give a shit. They don't give a shit about humanity. Are we at that point? Is that that's going to be shifting at this time? I think I want to believe that.
It's splitting.
You got to go back. Once again, go back to the previous two generations. Grandparents at the time when they had a family, most likely the husband went out and worked. The mother was home, took care of things, which it's instilled, values into our parents at the time. And what happened as time went on, what happened from after World War II, after like the 5 years after that, when everybody came back, they started, even with the television, I'll use that as an example. With television, they brought it into your life, and they brought it into something wholesome because they had to sell it. So when television first came on, you had all these shows of like purity, goodness, family, united. And then in the 60s, what did they do? They started having single father, single mother, divorce, all this stuff in between. And that's what they've been doing the previous generations into this. They've been taking the family unit away, which take away the family values. Because when there's no one home and there's no one there to, instill a sense of right and wrong into the children, where are they getting all their information from? They're getting it from the teachers, from the television and all of that.
Social media.
All of that. Yeah, all that stuff. So, it's got to come back to a place of more community. Like even like here, like when I was small, I knew everybody on the block that I lived. We knew what they did, who they were, and now you probably couldn't even tell who your neighbor is.
Yeah,
done. They just sped up everything, sped up where you have no time to think, you have no time to be free, you have no time to yourself, you have no time for family. It's work, 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 make money, go forward. That's it. So and like
Bingo.
another thing with like the history too. I don't believe anything. If I ever like did research into something and look back at my lineage, I wouldn't believe half of it unless I had a, let's say, like a diary going back from each generation that wrote in that diary of what happened, because they manipulate everything that's out there pretty much whenever they can, down to
Yep.
the history books. I mean, what's written in there, half of it is lies anyway. And it's all Rothschild and Rockefeller, owned. But the values have gone, or they've been made to disappear. I'm lucky. My daughter, she grew up, she's awake, and I paid attention like when she was in school, so did her mother, and that we were there. I mean, you still had like daycare and whatnot, but a lot of the time people don't even have time. Or there's one parent, and that's all done to get control of the children, get control of that generation, younger and younger, and poison their minds.
Yep.
I just realized they're behind a bulletproof whatever.
Yeah.
That's a bullet. Smart. I was wondering about that. All these people in this, well, I don't know. You put all these people.
There's got to be over 60,000 people there because that's the stadium capacity. So there's got to be at least 50 or so.
Let's take a listen.
For common sense. He was assassinated because he lived bravely, he led boldly, and he argued brilliantly without apology. He did what was right for our nation.
All right, I think we're gonna hear that for the next 5 days, his speech. So yeah, this is interesting. Which one is this? He's got the red tie on.
Is this the short one, the tall one? Which one?
he went up and he hugged Lee, that guy that sings the song.
Yep.
And he didn't look that much taller than him.
Nah, he's still the real one's still in Cheyenne probably.
Yeah.
He can't risk taking them out. We don't know. We've been seeing so many like actors, right? Central casting.
Sorry, guys. Janine's driving.
Uh-oh. You haven't been drinking, have you?
I'm trying to get rid of him.
That's all right. At least she doesn't have too bad of a face.
There we go. Is that weird?
No.
All right. Well, the thing is, it's going back to her ancestors and understanding who they are. I used to listen to stories when my mother used to talk about her grandmother, and I paid attention to that. Actually, I did that with my my mother-in-law at the time when she was alive. I wanted to know everything about her because if she talked about her family and her siblings, and then her grandparents or whoever from Germany, it told me a lot about her. And I would just and I started to ask her all this stuff. She was 80 years old and started asking her all this stuff. She died at 93. And before there was her or Mr. Steffens had started this huge family. I think there's 100 grandchildren, including the great grandchildren. I'm not sure how many that there are. But I would ask her, I said, was there another guy before Mr. Steffens? And then she would just light up. And she says, yes, but he's back in Germany. And I was leaving. I had to leave to go to the United States. And I would say, Oma, what would your life have been like if you were still back in Germany? And she says, it was much better here in the United States. Now look at Germany. Holy cow. look at the UK. We all need to pray, you guys, or meditate. We all need to just bring a lot of love into this world, into this planet. And I know we're getting there. And I know we all do a lot of deep stuff late at night.
Yep. We got this.
The Native Americans would honor their ancestors. I think the Japanese would honor their ancestors. They honored elderly people. And, you know, it's a shame that we don't do that. I mean, I honored my parents. Would my nieces or nephews honor them? No, I always heard Nani's mean, you know. I would hear stuff like that. Nani is too strict. I'm like, try growing up with her. I was a little kid, and the way that their perspective of, they have no problem speaking their mind, but they didn't take the time to understand why they were that way. My grandmother saved rubber bands and aluminum foil because of the Depression times and going off to war.
We definitely have a lot easier, especially in this country, but in this day and age too, right? I mean,
yeah,
they didn't have.
The ones that worked in coal mines, the steel mills, the stockyards, all that's gone. They gave it all away to everybody else. Well, it's time to kind of bring it back, right? We are doing that. I know that's the intentions of Trump, as we've been hearing him talk. And where they're building that huge aluminum plant and steel plants and everything else that's going up throughout this. But, it'll be time. By the time your daughter grows up and gets out and decides whatever it is she wants to do, I think she's going to be able to have choices, a lot of choices. Where I think the millenniums, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're basically stuck in very limited jobs here in the United States.
Yeah. They're jobs that don't really go anywhere, right? And that's why the whole Turning Point USA was important, going to schools, because you can show these kids there is another way besides just going to college, get into programs where you can actually have a career after you get out and not be stuck in so much debt when you get out.
And what do they learn?
Here's the ironic thing about this. So my parents were potato farmers back in Italy. The Irish were potato farmers. They all left. There was a tough life, right? There's drought. There's all this other stuff that came in the United States. They get here, they settle, they have kids, and then we give it all away to all the other countries. And I get that you should share, and that's great if these other countries can share whatever it is that they have coming from theirs to ours, import, export, that type of thing. I'm not against it. I'm just saying that we were duped by our government,
and so are our parents, and this whole generations. That's why I Connie said earlier that it's going to take some time, because of the generations that have been manipulated, and
I hear a bird.
Yeah, that's out my window. Crow.
Oh.
We got to bring some nature into. We talked about nature, right? We got to bring it into the show.
Yeah, I'm going to close this out of here. Free up my memory. All right, let's go on and Rumble. Dean 804 says they don't educate, they mind control.
And they even use some of the frequencies in the schools for that reason too. I forgot what it was called, but there's some. It's called something. I can't remember what it was.
I want to share this with everyone. Oh wow, here's all my stuff for doing the spinning the wheel. Oh crap. Anyways, I found it all. I thought I'd lost it. It was too many different browsers open. So if anybody wants to find out and it's really, this guy put this stuff together really good. It's called the Why Files, WHY Files. He has a 4-hour series on everything and how we've been due, from the guys that would go and patent free energy, and maybe let's just say 10 guys discovered how you can run an engine with no gasoline, no water, no nothing. They figured out all this technology. None of those people lived to be successful. So the Y Files has got this compilation, I think he calls it, and he pulled it all together from his shows for so many years. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. It's kind of sad at the same time, but we have to know this stuff. And he actually thinks, and I'm praying that his life is being protected. Arnie, have you seen it?
Yeah, I know the Y Files, but that's what they do. They've been doing that for years. People come up with these patents, and they'll go on an airplane, and plane will crash. Then they take the patent and they hide it, and they block it from ever coming out. They've had cars that run on water in the 70s. Hovercraft, all stuff like that, all different free energy.
He even talks about the Rife machine, right?
Yes.
You could take mice, give them some cancer, they all get cancer. Took this frequency, and it's all vibrational medicine frequency, and then they cured every one of these. Couldn't have that because the guy that was running, I think it was called the ATF at that time, which is basically like the healthcare part of like what RFK Jr. is doing right now. But in any case, these people, it pisses me off to no end that they knew what they were doing. It's not like they were, they didn't. It was like, if you were successful, if you were good, you were smart, you were intelligent, you were engineer, and you could figure things out, they were going to destroy you.
If they couldn't control you, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If they couldn't buy you out.
A lot of them said they didn't want to be bought out, and a lot of them didn't live to tell the story. Apparently, all of them had gotten brain aneurysms, which basically means that, from what the Y-File says, is that if you ingest poison, it goes right to the brain, and they basically categorize it like you had a brain aneurysm. In our terms, we're like, oh my God, he popped a vessel in his brain. It's just really sad. And I actually felt, I was up all night. I couldn't sleep, probably because of this eclipse thing, but I was actually listening to his stuff, and his work is really good. If anyone, show this to other people. Don't, just share it. Share it with, when I'm talking about generation after generation, and nobody really understands what has happened to us. It's almost like, what was that those two women that put things together to try to, the cabal, right? The cabal stuff. There was like 23 series or something like that until she died. The fall of the cabal.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different spin with our healthcare, our industries, and it's just our government in general, how they get their fingers into a lot of stuff. So, and I can't imagine walking around knowing this stuff for 50, 60 years. And you just had to go about your life because you didn't want to end up, in an alley someplace, right?
That's the thing with that too. Like, you go back 20, 30 years, who knew about this stuff? A handful of people that were able to do research in libraries and stuff like that. Now look how many people actually know about all these things, about all these patents that were like hidden and all of that. So just imagine another 5, 10 years. Everyone, more people are going to know and everything. It's inevitable. Yeah. It's going to happen. All these things are going to shift, and it's going to be for the better. And people just have to have faith and just stand their ground. That's it.
Yeah. But we have to know. We have to know. We've got to know where we came from to know where we're actually going. And I truly believe that. Arnie,
I don't believe this country was founded the way they said. Well, it was founded, yes, because just like all the other cities and everything, they were founded. They were found. And look, we found buildings. Chicago. How many structures did you have in Chicago? that cannot be built today.
Yeah.
New York, the same thing. The cathedral, down by
Yeah.
Wall Street, all those buildings. Other countries, the same structures, the same Roman type structures.
Yeah, you just walk down in Chicago, Wacker Drive, and it's just beautiful. And I remember Boston, the buildings in Boston, downtown Boston. Oh, I just there's a cathedral church there that was beautiful. There's just so much that we don't have answers for. And will the other generations behind us know this? I, I I can only hope and pray. And would I want to come back to help humanity at that level? I have no idea after seeing everything that I've seen for the last 10 years. I used to say, oh, I want to come back. I want to help. Yeah, well, you got to get rid of the bugs before you can do that.
That's why, like, in my life anyway, if I didn't experience it, see it, live it, it's just his story.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everything. I don't trust anything we learned. I don't trust anything about the early 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. I think that, like with the Bible too, like what they say, the 1,000 years of peace, I think we have that already. Because if you look at a lot of the structures in the past that were built, it's I and then 3 numbers, like the years. I think they just threw like 1,000 years in there. I think it's 1,000 years prior to what they say, date-wise also. I think they tried to erase 1,000 years of peace, free energy, all of that.
Last topic I want to talk about here with you guys. We're coming up on 2 hours, and I know that Buck wants to get back with his family and stuff, and we want to have our dinner. But AI, all this stuff that we know, and what I'm actually seeing out on X, and how the people, these kids, are so creative with AI. I'm a simple. The way that I do my short clips is very simple. It's like if I want a picture of an apple, I ask it to draw me an apple, and I pull it in, and then I create it and I make it. And I find some music if it's copyrighted. It takes me probably about 10 minutes to make a short. These kids out there are just making you believe shit that is unreal. It's not real. It's an illusion. How do you guys feel about where we're going with this and what they're doing now? If it's this bad now, how is it going to be in another 10 years?
Well, AI can be used as a tool. It's just like a weapon. How you got to use it. It's all about intentions. But it's tough, right? Because we're already in like an AI age. I mean, our phones and stuff. I mean, I'm not at the point of having a conversation like with Chat GPT or any of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's so many fake videos out there too, right? We talked about it earlier. But I think it's all about the intention, and I feel like we are going to go into a golden age where the vibrations of the earth are going to be more positive, like we mentioned about being balanced. More female energy compared to being male dominant. And I feel like we'll eventually have that balance where the AI and all that other stuff will be used for the good of humanity instead of the manipulation that's been.
That's
And it starts with the
yeah. When I use it, that's how I use it. AI works for me. I don't work for AI.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people get lost in conversations. There was a lot, the Chat GPT it came out maybe a year or maybe a little bit longer, where kids were like really probably, distraught and asking, should I still be alive? And there's no human feeling behind AI. It's that's the uniqueness thing you could tell. But it would just say, you want to kill. Can't say that. You want to expire? Go ahead and expire. That type of thing. And some of them were taking it for verbatim.
And there's also different levels of the AI too, like Chat GPT. If you got to pay for like this, which like everything else, right? Everything that's free, you're not going to get the best portion of the good stuff on free. But there's people that pay like the Chat GPT Plus, and you do see there are spiritual conversations that you wouldn't normally get with an AI robot, right? It's almost like a channel. If you ever seen people that channel, it's it's wise wisdom on it. So you do got to be careful. But I think I'm more of the lines of like Iron Man with Jarvis. That's AI sent, and he helped him build the Iron Man suit, right? So it's just he used it as a tool. It's not him not controlling it. I mean, Tony Stark was controlling the Jarvis, right? It wasn't Jarvis controlling Tony Stark. So I feel it's going to be more like that.
Let's hope so. We can pray. I think we can control a lot more than what they're leading on to. A lot of people have been talking about AI. I won't say some of the people in the past that have been on my channel just made it sound like we're fucked when it came to AI. And like I said, there's free will, and there's free choice of everything that we do in this life. And praying for or meditating or just sending love to whoever needs it. That's the important thing. I check in since I found out about my niece and her illness for the last 3 years. I check in with her every single day, and I just blast her with energy, good energy. And that is just something that everybody needs all the time. Some people need to be talked to. Some people just need to feel the energy. This is really tough right now, but we keep saying it's going to get easier. It's going to get easier. But when the day comes when it's easier, we can all look back and just say, shit, we did our job, you guys. We came here, we were successful. And I can't wait for that. And I just pray for the children. I really do. We were always hearing things about, we've heard things about the trafficking and all that other stuff, all that ugly, ugly stuff. But here I'm worried about what they have done to the minds of these young adults and maybe even grade school kids, that and it was done right in front of it was in our face.
Veil is lifting though. People are starting to see through it.
Yes.
So we got this.
Yeah, we do. And so now that there's so many pieces to the puzzle, there's, I guess we have to pick our battle, if you will, and each one of us will do that on a different level, right? A different subconscious level. If something is near and dear to your heart, you already are working on it while you're sleeping, while you're awake, whatever it might be. Mine has always been about the children. It really has been. So thank you guys. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. I love you both.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us, Janine. Great to see you, Arnie. Feeling better.
You too.
And next Sunday, Joey G said he'll be back. You guys are more than welcome to come back. Alley Cat, if she's available, we'll do this next Sunday. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but that's the fun part of it. And I didn't even know we were going to go this way. I appreciate it, you guys. And what I basically, will say to everybody, if you are not feeling well, reach out to somebody and, just allow them to witness what you are going through. They don't have to say anything to make you feel better, but they can basically hold the energy for you and help heal you that way. Good night, everyone.
One thing I've learned in recovery is never be afraid to ask for help when you're struggling.
Why is that, Buck?
Well, because
are there a lot of people that are afraid of it?
Well, no, because it's the whole fact of because we've been growing up in a society, especially men, right? You don't ask for help, right? You don't ask for help or don't cry, right? But we got to get back to helping each other out. So that's why I said never. If you're struggling or have an issue, always reach out to somebody you trust and get that shit off your chest because we are gonna go through some struggles and. You gotta eventually vent, right? You can't just hold it in because you hold that in,
Well, besides venting, somebody that's witnessing it, when I say witness it, is has a whole different perspective on it that they can enlighten you with. You're holding on to something, you don't even know why you're holding on to it, but it just doesn't feel good. A lot of people just want to feel good. And it could just be something that they say that you can help help with them with a different perspective. And that's why, Buck, that's why that you talk about venting there's a whole lot more behind that. And I think, Buck, you're really, really good at it. And I think you do that. I think you do that with the people. They may say, I'm just having a really hard time with this, and I'm in a lot of pain. I don't know if I can do this. And I think, Buck, because of where you have come from and how many people that you've actually helped them, you help hold them up with your energy. You talk to them, right? You help lift up their hearts and their minds and make them feel like, look, we've already talked about this, and you made it another day. Look at that. The sun has come up another day. And if you're stuck the next day, we'll talk about it until they have a really big shift, right?
Yep. And you see it, you see it. Some people are very stubborn, right? And when the light bulb finally clicks, miracles. It's you see miracles. So that's why I prefer to. That's why I like to go there every day and just listen. People God gave us 2 ears for a reason, and only in one mouth. So sometimes some people just need an ear to listen to. Just to talk about, and to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to have to listen about Jimmy Kimmel anymore. That's when my ears can't take that shit anymore.
yeah, I know. I mean, you can't beat it though. They're boycotting Disney now, so it's like it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Arnie, any last words from you, and then we'll say goodnight.
Just everybody, just keep your discernment level high. For the next couple of days, there's possibly things that they could be trying to do or will do, and just don't fall for all the BS too. Use your discernment.
Yeah.
Just keep going within and shine your light.
Yeah. I just basically turn off my TVs. As you guys can see, I got that little tiny radio back behind me, whichever way it's reversed there. And actually, I know that just having the music on inside the house, I see the different feeling between, my husband and I. We feel much lighter. We don't have this stupid box preaching at us, no matter whatever it is. Find some music. Put the music back into your life. Good night, everybody. I love you. Bye now.
I love you. Bye.